The more I focused on myself, I became a better husband. The more she focused on Khadeen, she became a better wife. And then we made the choice to be better together, right? Yeah. The biggest thing is about choices. When people typically speak about the members of the opposite sex that they deal with, they don't realize that they keep dating the same type of person in different forms, right? Then they cast a wide net over everybody, right? One of my boys, all these bitches is money hungry. Dude, you go to the same club and meet the same women at the same time at the same club, but then you say, "Oh, bitches, how about you try something different?" Yeah. And it's the same thing for women. That's insanity. You meet the same guys doing the same things, and then when they treat you or dog you out, you say, "All niggas ain't shit." That's not the case. The niggas you choose ain't that's the truth. And for
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bird 91. I thought I'd give you guys a different type of live tonight because no Ready to Love. And I literally just got back from hosting an event called Love Jam. Amazing event, had great poets, and it got me, stirred up. And I just watched this video with Khadeen and Devale, Ellis. And let me tell you this now, I'm in a different headspace, I guess, today, because I think before I left for the hosting event, I was like, I need to do more content I need to do more content, review more videos where people are married, right? Because that's the end goal, right? As much as I love the single people, I was like, do you know what? We need to have more content that's going to revolve around married people. So I'm definitely going to be pushing more of that stuff. But today I am talking about this subject, okay? Before you complain about your partner, I need you to check you first. Okay, before you complain about your partner, I need you to check you first. Okay, before you complain about your partner, I need you to check you first. Because who gonna check you, boo? You gonna check you. Okay, I need you to check you first. Just having been done a few bits of coaching with couples, singles, the like, oftentimes you'll have couples coming and be like, hey, they've done X, Y, Z, da, 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 right? And I'm talking about all types of examples, Some people, it could be even that the partner's cheated. It could be even sometimes, person doesn't listen anymore or whatever, right? But the reality is these situations actually expose us to what kind of behaviors we have. And I really love, there was something I watched. It was a very short clip. It was by the poet Perry and his wife. I've forgotten her name. The one that used to be gay, and I've forgotten her name. It'll come back to me. But he mentioned something. He said, your partner's sins will expose your sins. And I was like, oh, what does he mean by that? And he said, when they start going a particular direction and moving in a particular way, it exposes you to how will you react. So if you haven't healed in certain areas, that person going to trigger you in a particular way. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's got me thinking. So I came up with this topic. I said, before you check me, I need you to check you first. Before you check me, I need you to check you first. Because who gonna check you, boo? You gonna check you. So if you're new to this place, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the what up, lows. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is as well. And you know what I mean? You got a minerals. You got a minerals. Stay hydrated, baby. All right, cool. So let's get this first point going up, okay? I need you to check you, boo, first, okay? All right, cool. So like I said, number one, we have partners that complain about the other person. I want you to understand something. I totally understand that the problem could be with the other person. I totally understand that the other person could be, moving mad. I totally understand that the other person is frustrating you. I totally understand that the other person is probably in the wrong. Okay, right? I'm with you. I'm with you. The other person is mashing up the thing. The other person is not pulling their weight, and it's causing issues in the relationships. And I totally believe that. But my question is, if you've chosen the right person, is it that you need to check them on their behavior, or is it that your behavior could be triggering them? Have you thought about it? Right? Is it that listen, I just want to put it out there, right? Surely I'm hearing you and I'm with you, because I know there's times where I'm like, looking at a person like, no, you crazy. Yeah, you crazy. But if you have picked correctly, thank you, Jackie Hill Perry. If you pick correctly and you pick the right kind of person for this relationship and for this long haul and this marriage, then could it be that it's not the fact that, of course, they've done something or they're doing something or behaving in a particular way, but are they responding and being triggered by you? let me give you an example. Right? Okay, let me give this example. So I sometimes hear, you know what, as an example, oh, like for instance, he doesn't listen. Ladies will say, he doesn't listen. You know, I'll be saying something, he's not listening to me. He's not listening. They don't, whenever I talk, he doesn't listen. Right? Now, at first, your first instinct to say, well, you know, well, why isn't, you know, oh, okay, he's not listening. And you might want to jump on her bandwagon and be like, oh my gosh, you know what? Your husband's terrible. He don't be listening to you. Da 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 da. Right? You might be thinking, jump on the bandwagon. Yep, the partner isn't great. You know, oh my gosh, yes. They don't listen. Get rid of them. Right? You might be thinking that. Here's the thing, though. The question is, I mean, why are they not listening? Because I'm sure when you first started in a relationship, they were listening, right? Or if they never were listening, maybe you're in the wrong relationship. Okay, all right, then you picked bad. But if they were listening in the beginning and they're now no longer listening, there's a reason for why they're not listening. Do you get it? Right? And are you sure it's them and it's not you? Before you go hard in the paint, before you decide to start, you know, throwing shots, are you sure it's them and it's not you? Are you essentially sure it's them and not you? And what I mean by that is, have you checked you first? Have you assessed whether you are even the way you're communicating is even worthy of the person wanting to listen? Right? Because sometimes we be thinking of a person is a problem and, you know, they're an issue, but people don't realize this. First and foremost, time. What time is it that you're gonna have this kind of conversation? Right? Contextually, is it the right time? Were you trying to talk to me whilst I was doing something? Were you talking to me whilst I had other things going on? Were you talking to me in a time when I'm not even fully concentrating? Were you talking to me in a time where I didn't have the energy to talk to you? Right? Was it a convenient time for the other person? Right? You want the other person to hear what you're saying, but was it a convenient time? Right? Was it a convenient time? So you may be saying, oh, they don't listen, but you may be also choosing the wrong time. And I always tell this to couples and people as well. You know, at the end of the day, the end goal is not to win. The end goal is to get the person on the same side as you. At the end of the day, the end goal of this relationship is to get them on the same page as you, so that two agree they can walk together. So it may be the wrong time. You are asking for him to listen or her to listen, right? It may be the wrong time. And so what you need to do, there's another question that needs to be asked. When is a more appropriate time for us to have this discussion? Right? When's a more appropriate time to have this discussion? Oh, is it a good time to talk? Are you in a place that you can receive to talk at the moment? Right? You know, when we're doing business and you cold call customers, you like, is this a good time to call you right now, sir? Or when's a better time to call you? I remember I was working in wealth management, and you call a customer, you're like, hey, hello, my name is Kojo. I'm calling from the wealth management department. You know, I wanted to just reach out to you, get a conversation going so I can help you with your current banking at this moment. Is this a good time to talk? Right? You drop a little salesman pitch, and then you ask them, is it a good time to talk? And when they say, no, it's not, you say, hey, fantastic. Do you know what? Not a problem at all. When's a better time to call? Should I call you this week or next week? I mean, when's a better time to call? In my diary, listen, have a look at your diary. Let's just quickly get a date in place. And let's see what the best time is to give you a call. Right? When I worked in wealth management, do you know what? I was so bad. I was good, but I was bad at the same time, because I don't like pushing people. I hate it. But I realized also the people that were really good at it were people who were really pushy. But actually, it's a great skill to have if in a relationship. Because what it does, it forces people into spaces where I have to choose at a right time to have this conversation, right? So for instance, I might say, okay, great. All right, cool. So we'll have a conversation, be like, hey, look, do you know what? You know, hello, so yeah, calling from the wealth department management. You know, is this a great time to talk right now? He'd be like, you know what? I'm really not in the mood right now. No problem at all, sir. Great. Listen, when would be a better time to give you a call? Let me know. Let me know. You might I haven't checked my diary. I don't know if I really want this. Listen, sir, hey, I just want to be here 15 minutes of your time. I want to have a conversation with you, just help with your banking. This will be really beneficial for you in the future as well, in terms of, getting your affairs in order as well. And I can be of great help. Let's have a quick look at your diary, and let's see what the best time to do it. My diary is quite open at the moment, and then let's look at that, right? And so what the client does, it goes, all right, cool, okay. I look at my diary. Well, it looks like I've got Wednesday free, right? It looks like I've got Wednesday free. Like, fantastic. Wednesday, 5 o'clock. Is that a great time for you? Fantastic. What I'm going to do for you, I'm going to send an email to you Wednesday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, just to remind you as well that we have our meeting set up for the week, right? Just so that you know that what time it is. And if you need to change the time, let me know ahead of time. Not a problem at all. We can reschedule. But please, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Just help with your banking, right? Now, we did this. And you do this several times over. And listen, I wasn't always great at this, because sometimes I don't be pushing. I don't like pushing. But it was, when you hear other people do it so well, you realize why they were so good at their job. Because it's refusing to take no, but it's also as well as attaining a better time to hit that person with what they need to be hit with. And so maybe you're asking me, you're telling me, you're just launching your conversation at me. And I'm like, bruv, I am not in the mood right now to discuss about this issue you're talking about. So I'm not in the best space to talk about it. But you feeling to talk about it right now, I need you to control your emotions. So you're saying I'm not listening, but are you sure it's not I don't want to listen? Are you sure I'm not listening? Or is it sure that it's not the right time for me to listen? Choose your time and your season correctly. And if you don't know what the time and season is, ask, is this the right time to have this conversation? Really, really important. It's just a simple thing. But it just really makes your life a little bit more easier. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start talking. They're going to be like, I'm not really listening. And then you're going to get more frustrated. See, you don't care about me. See, you don't ever listen to me. And then especially when you start using those ever words, please, guys, avoid ever and always. You don't want to use those words in a conversation. You don't ever listen to me. Darling, calm it down. If he doesn't ever listen to you, why are you still in a relationship? If they don't ever listen to you, why are they in a relationship with you? Why are you still there? Yeah? Stop that. Stop it. It's emotional. Stop it. Okay? And it actually breaches on the point, almost like you're trying to wrestle their arm into your truth. Stop saying always and every time and every ways. It's not. Listen, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've done this a few times. That's fine. Right? But say always, you're going to get yourself in trouble. All right? So first and foremost, always check you first before you start checking me. You know what I mean? Before you find yourself in a place you don't want to be. You get what I'm saying? All right. Okay. So now I was about about the partner reacting to you. And I want to just get this point as well. And I want to bring that into it because I think that's a really important part as well. All right. I want to get into this part as well because I think this is a key aspect of it as well. Okay. All right. And I say this, have you considered that your partner is reacting to you? Okay. Right. So I want to give you an example. You see a partner shouts, right? Oh, my partner is always shouting. And again, you shouldn't be using always. My partner shouts too much. But you don't realize that your tone is derogatory or your tone is condescending or your tone has this air of I'm right and you're wrong. Just because you're not shouting don't mean you're not triggering. Also, there could be something minute that you're also doing that it could be triggering the other person as to why they're in the place they're in, right? So sometimes what happens is people can feel like, you know what? I feel like you don't care about me in this moment, so I start shouting. I don't shout. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not my kind of thing. Not saying I haven't shouted, but it's not my kind of thing. But it could be something that the person's reacting to, right? Providing again you've chosen the right person. Some of you need to be real with it. You need to exit a relationship. I'm just gonna be honest with you, right? But providing you've chosen the right relationship again, once more, I want to be very honest with you. Sometimes what happens is your behavior is triggering another person. You think you're good, but you don't realize some of your behaviors are triggering another person, right? Also, their interpretation of your behavior is also critical. Right? Their behavior, their interpretation of your behavior is also critical, right? So they could be interpreting some of your behavior, you should be interpreting, they may be interpreting some of your behavior in a particular way. And so this is why asking and understanding comes first. It should be our first protocol. And it's very difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very difficult to do. It's very hard to implement that in a relationship form when you say, oh, to not react in an emotional sense, right? But the reality is, in these things, you got to stay calm, cool, and collected, because what you want to do is be able to reach understanding, not being right. Of course, I get it. You're hurt, you're frustrated, you're annoyed, you feel disrespected, you feel dismissed. All those feelings are absolutely valid, and they should not be dishonored. They must be honored. You should honor your feelings. I am feeling these things. So you can start and say, like, hey, I'm feeling dismissed in this moment right now. When you did X, Y, and Z, I felt dismissed in this particular moment. Right? And so it's important also at the same time that you as an individual also look at the situation, go, okay, great. You know what? I may be reacting something which is not necessarily you. You know what I mean? I may be reacting to something that's not necessarily you. I may be also reacting to something because I'm assuming of something, which is why this is why we have to encourage each other to talk about what we're actually seeing. Hey, what are you interpreting in this moment? How are you seeing things? Right? And I say this as well, and this is probably number 3, and I want to go too far ahead of myself, but it's the extra question. Okay? The extra question is so important. The extra question, which is the why question, right? And this is what leads to the understanding. Okay? This is what leads to the understanding. So it could be that, you know what, I'm reading your behavior as being cold. And it may not be. You may not be being cold, but this is your natural disposition. When you make a certain face, this is your natural normal face. But I remember reading that as it's cold. You're being cold, and you're for me, you're being rude. And so then I start raising my voice because I feel like I'm being disrespected, and I feel like I'm being dishonored in this moment when you're making that face. That's how I'm interpreting it, right? So now, as I interpret it that way, you're also interpreting it another way. Okay. You may be interpreting it another way. Okay. And as you interpret it another way, right, we're now reacting off one another. I did this, so you did this, and then I did that to you, what you did, but now you're doing what you did to what I did to do. And so now it runs in this vicious circle. And if you're only thinking about being right, then all that happens in these situations is that person just goes, you miss the mark, right, of understanding. Now, of course, there are certain situations which are just clear as day. Apologize, say sorry, move forward. Yeah. But there are some situations, yes, drama triangles. There are some situations where it's cyclical. It's like I'm reacting to what you reacted to what you reacted to me, reacting to you. And it just becomes this cycle, which goes round and round and round, doesn't solve any issues. Sometimes this can be an issue in relationships that people don't realize, but it's your interpretation. For instance, I'm a person very big on quality time. And again, maybe this is another point I can bring up as well. I want to bring this point up as well. Number 3, I'll put this here. What is your interpretation? Right? Okay. So I think you guys have seen the clip I did with Kayla from Ready to Love some days ago, and I spoke about her rolling her eyes when she does roll her eyes, and she was like, "Oh, you know what? We have to grow up." Da, 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 da. In my head, when people roll their eyes, it's disrespectful. And I know for a lot of you guys, it's exactly the same. But again, it's about interpretation, right? I now need to let you know at this conjuncture, before I get angry and before I get vexed, to let you know, I'm going to be very honest with you. When you rolled your eyes, I was hurt because I felt like you were trying to disrespect me. That's how I felt like, right? I felt like you were trying to disrespect me. right? Now, the question is, in this moment, right, is that what you were trying to do, right? So I can say, oh, you know what, in that moment, when you rolled your eyes, I felt disrespected. Is that what you were trying to do? Okay. Now, when a person goes, do you know what? No, that's not what I was trying to do. Okay. So what were you trying to communicate towards me then? And they might say, well, do you know what? I was listening and I didn't realize my eyes were rolling at the point in time, right? They might not even realize they're doing it. Sometimes you do things automatically. You've been doing it for so long, you don't even realize. And so they say, they might not even realize they're doing it and go, okay, look, I'm going to be honest with you again. I want to reiterate, it hurts when you roll your eyes because how I interpret it is you're being disrespectful in that moment. So what I would love in future is for you not to roll your eyes when I'm talking. And if I mention it, it's not because I want to try and control you or anything. It's because I really want to be understood. But how I'm interpreting rolling your eyes is that you're not actually listening to me, right? So in that moment, now we've created an understanding moment, not about me being right, not about me telling you off. And this is the hardest thing because I'm an older brother, you know, you know, I'm an older brother. I'm somebody who's, you know, I understand this is difficult because the natural inclination is to tell you off. You understand? The natural inclination is to say you're moving mad. You know what I mean? And get it together, right? But that doesn't breed the relationship long term for what I want. Again, once more, considering the fact that you've chosen the right kind of person in the beginning. And when I say right kind of person, nobody's perfect. What I mean is somebody who is somebody who's on your level, somebody who's on your level. You know what I mean? Someone who's on a good, healthy level at that, I must add. Because some of you on a level, some of you, your level is subpar. So you're not in the space you need to be in. You're going to get into a better place. But somebody who's on your level, somebody who's got a healthy way of trying to communicate, someone who's trying to communicate better, someone who's trying to do better, someone who's growing and trying to grow to do better, you know? Okay. So as I was saying, so again, the conversation is I'm trying to understand what your eye rolling means in the situation. And it comes off disrespectful. Um you know, it comes off disrespectful in that particular moment. Okay. So again, I have to be able to communicate that in the right type of way and let you know this is it. Okay. I have to let you know that this is it. Okay. So again, it's all about getting to that space of understanding. So what is your interpretation? How are you interpreting my behavior? You know what was funny the other day? And I had to apologize to the girl because I was talking to my friend. You know, I was talking to my friend and they were talking to me on the phone. And I was just frustrated, not with them necessarily, but I had too many things on my mind that day. And usually I'm pretty good. Like it, you know, I don't get into bad moods or anything like that. But that day I just had my mind was just fixated with things I need to achieve. And my mind wasn't in the space to do anything productive. You know what I mean? And I get the call and they call me and then they're talking. And I'll be honest with you, I was half listening. You know, I'm listening, but I'm half listening. But because my mind is just consumed. And the person can sense that I'm not fully there, and he can tell over the phone I'm not really there. They're like, so I'm gonna go now, you know, because and I'm like, why you being like that? Like, yo. But the reality is that I'm just dealing with a lot that day, right? But you know, they can sense I'm not good. So they end the call. Right. After we have a little bit of a tiff and they end the call. Right? Not in a bad way, but they just say I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I was like, do you know what? Don't even call me tomorrow. I'm not in the space to listen to you or let's talk to you like no, right? I just wasn't in the space. I gave it 5-10 minutes. I sat there and I thought about it and I said, yeah, coach, that wasn't the best way to handle things, was it really? Now, the old me would have been like, do you know what? I don't give a hoots. They can sit and stir in that pot. I don't give a flip. I won't message you for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. I don't give a hoots. That's the old me. But when I'm growing to learn to communicate and be able to free myself also of the burden of being consumed by my own emotions and pretending as if the emotions are not there, I'm not trying to be burdened by that. You know, I'm not trying to be burdened by that. So I give him a call 5 minutes later and I first started off by saying, I apologize because that's not the way I want to be able to communicate. And I have a lot of things going on at the moment. I'm a little bit under it a little bit right now. And I'm just not, I wasn't in the correct headspace. But I've sat there and I've thought about it and I realized I was moving mad. You know what I mean? Like I should just communicate with you and said to you, look, right now, probably not the best time to talk. I'm in a space where I can't really, converse and give you my full attention, right? But I didn't say that at the time. So the second time I called back, I did. I said that I probably wasn't in the right space. And then after that, she said it's fine, not a problem at all. We spoke, I listened, I heard, we discussed, and the phone call ended, right? But what I learned from that situation, was, hey, I was in a space where I wasn't feeling to converse, but I never communicated that with the person. I was in fault. Because they can't read my mind. You know what I mean? You can't read my mind. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't read my mind. So what am I doing in that moment when I'm getting annoyed at you, or I'm getting annoyed at a situation, or I'm not being at my best in that moment? What am I doing? I should be communicating, right? I should be communicating to be understood, because we're always communicating, right? We're always communicating, right? And so in this moment now, really powerful moment, what I realized was, okay, great. I had to think about it and go, no, you are at fault. You didn't communicate to be understood. You were communicating your frustration in your passive aggressiveness, and you not saying anything, and you not really listening, and you not really paying attention to the conversation, and you not being fully present in that time, in that moment. You were communicating something. And actually, what you're communicating is actually being disrespectful, because what you're saying is, right now, I don't have the time to listen to you. Right now, I don't have. When all you have to do is communicate and say, okay, what is it you want to? What? Right now, I'm not in that space to talk about things. That's all. Okay. That's all. We're not talking about any particular couple, guys. We're talking about a title. Before you complain about your partner, check you first. It's just that we use the video of Devale and Khadeen Ellis. So if you're asking what it is, they haven't done anything. We just used them as a video. They did a great little piece on their video. I used it as the start of a conversation. Okay. So, yeah, so it's so important. So communication is, everybody's communicating at every single second. But what are you communicating is the most important part. All right. So what is it essentially you're communicating? Right. That's what we're saying right now. What is it you're communicating? Right. And that's why I said about the interpretation, because sometimes you think you're communicating, but you ain't communicating nothing of any particular importance, or what you are communicating is triggering the other person. Going back to our original point, right? So sometimes you're there. So, and I said about this as well. People notice body language so much. In non-verbal communication is huge. You're tapping your foot. You're crossing your arms. You're tapping your finger on the table. You're playing with a pen. You're on your phone. You're rolling your eyes. You're looking up and down. You're not able to sit still, or you're standing in my face. Whatever it is, you are communicating. Is it what you want to communicate, though? The question is that what you wanted to communicate? You are communicating, by the way. You've never stopped communicating, but is that what you want to communicate? Because now you're not being effective. Yes, black girls shift there together. Now you're not being effective in your communication, and that's critical. Being effective in that communication is paramount, right? So you may be thinking, I always communicate with him, or I always communicate with her, and she never listens. But the thing is, what are you communicating? No point communicating Chinese if I don't understand Chinese. No point communicating in Yoruba. I say Yoruba, but if talking in Yoruba tribe language, and then not being able to not being able to translate it, it's gonna be a problem. So again, this importance of effective communication is really, really important. So what is it you're communicating? You said you want to talk to them. You said you want to have a conversation with them. Yes, I'm talking to them, but what is it essentially are you communicating? Is it effective? Brilliant point there by Alexis as well. She says, I always ask, what did you hear after I share something important? Yeah, really great technique, because then it just shows how much they took in, and it shows if they're still on the same wavelength. I also about this example I use with couples when I'm doing like couple relation, like if I deal with a couple live when I'm like doing a coaching, we do a listening exercise, and you'll be surprised, people ain't listening. Oh, they heard, but they weren't listening. Okay. All right. They heard, but they weren't listening. Okay, they heard, but they weren't listening. Reality. Okay, all right. Lady Dove said, "What if you have expressed yourself verbally, put it to pen to pause, and they still won't take heed?" Listen, essentially, you've got to first understand. You first got to make sure, and I think this goes back to Alexa's point right now. Have they actually understood what you said? I know you said it 10 times, but did they understand? Right? Did they actually understand? And this is going to lead to one of my later points as well. Okay, did they understand? But also as well, do they know what it means to you? Do they know what that action that you're talking about actually means to you? Or are they interpreting the meaning of it themselves? Right? That's my real question. Do they understand the meaning of it to you? Do you know what I realized? I'm gonna share something, be vulnerable. Part of me, and sometimes people ask, why are you always like? Sometimes you can be late. I got a problem with being late. I really have got a problem with being late. I'm trying to fix. I'm trying to change, but it's not easy, guys. I've been trying all my life. It's not easy. Okay. But I realized something. I remember one time one of my girlfriends in the past said, I feel like when you're late, it's frustrating for me because I feel like I have to schedule different things around and that hurts. And I was like, oh, like I didn't know what it meant to her that I'm late. Don't get it twisted. I'm sure some of you are going to be like, oh, you should know by now. Look, I should, but I don't. Okay. Because I have my own interpretation of being late. Okay. Leah thought it said all the time. I thought it was your guests. Oh, no. That's the guests. That's the guests. 80% of the time it's the guests. Nothing to do with me. Okay. That's the guests. But I'm talking about being late in general. Like, you know what I mean? Like when it's on me. And it's because I have a different interpretation. I realize this now. As I'm talking, it just came to me. I was like, I know why I'm late. I have a different interpretation of what being late means to you than it is for me. I think of it as, well, being late is like, well, it won't matter that much. You're not going to die. You know what I mean? I'm not going to die. We'll still be able to do what we need to do. Right? Oh, we'll still be able to do what we do. But now if somebody tells me they're actually frustrated with me being late and actually it hurts them, and it makes them feel like I'm disrespecting them, I have a different interpretation when I'm late. Like I said, with right? So again, someone might say again, so why don't you change interpretation? I don't know why. I think because what, my interpretation is so strong, okay, on this aspect when it shouldn't be. It should be different, right? So there's an interpretation I have of my behavior of being late. Whereas someone else might interpret and be like, that's really, what, that's really painful. Right? So you need to give me an interpretation of what it means to you. So Annette said something really powerful. Okay. Worse when you complain about lateness more than one time, it's annoying. Absolutely. I mean, I was late to work all the time, I'm not gonna lie to you. I will be late. I'll be late to my own. Someone told me I'll be late to my own late. And I said, you know what? You're right. You know what? You're right. I'll be late to my own late. It can be that, right? Okay, so when you complain about lateness more than one, it can be annoying. Absolutely, it can be, right? So in this, again, does the person understand your interpretation of what it means to you, that particular behavior? That's the question. Do they understand what that behavior means to you? Have you explained that? Right? If they don't care, Annette, you might want to consider who that person really is. You might want to consider if that person really cares about you. I'm gonna be honest with you. If they don't care. Lateness is sound of crazy. I don't know about it. That's a bit of a wild interpretation, but hey, that's an interpretation. That's huge. A friend and I fell out because we'd get into arguments over her always being late. I interpret it as being disrespectful and no consideration of my time. You got to explain that, right? That's disrespectful. It feels disrespectful. It feels like you're not taking my time into consideration, right? You got to explain that to me though. Because I can take those of us who are chronically late. I'm talking about those of us who are chronically late, and I'm chronic. I'm one of those chronics that are late, right? I'm a chronic that's late, guys. I always do something that will think. I always think I have more time than I actually do. That's the problem with me. I always think I have more time than I actually do. You know what I mean? I schedule things. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? You know, you right? They do. But some of us who are chronically late know how to be chronically late 5 minutes. We can stretch it 10, 15. Okay? We can stretch it. We can stretch it. Okay? uh, and then it said, I have to trick them and give them earlier time than actual time. And you know what? Sometimes, and you know what, Annette, thank you for pointing this out, right? Because sometimes there are some things you just can't win. Let this be a point. Let me make this number 5. I'm kind of removing all my points I had in my notes and adding extras. But let me put this number 5. Sometimes you just can't win. Okay? Right? Sometimes you know your partner so well. Okay? You know the other person so well. You know what to do. I remember, listen, I love my best friend. My best friend was like, listen, everyone needs to, you need to get to my own birthday party. She like, I didn't really know his birthday. It was like a little gathering for dinner. She's like, you need to get there by 6. Meanwhile, the thing started at 7. So I'm thinking to myself, raw, I'm gonna be late. I'm looking at the time like, oh, I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna be late. You know, I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna be late, right? You know, okay, cool. I'm gonna be late. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be late, right? And boom, I get there. I'm like, yo, I'm late. She's like, nah, we haven't started. It's 7 o'clock. I said, fuck. So I started laughing, right? Because again, like I said, there are some things you may not be able to win. So you come up with more smarter ways to handle the situation. I'm not saying that you should do it that way, guys. Again, I'm not saying you should do that way. I'm saying, but there may be certain things that you're going to fight about, which you're wasting your breath at. You may be better placed thinking of a very smarter solution in being able to maneuver the person the way you want them to in a particular way, right? And so in that particular aspect, you know, the person might not see that way. Ellis says that being late is selfish. It affects many people around you. I hear that, but I don't see it like that. So what now? Because now you're coming. Now I'm going to be defensive. I'm not trying to do it on purpose. I'm not trying to do it on purpose. What are you talking about? I'm not trying to do it on purpose. I think then now I start making excuses. No, but I was doing some things, right? Because the person that's late, they're interpreting it a different way, which is why I'm saying to you, explain how you're interpreting it, right? But you gotta be very careful how you explain it, right? Because all that will happen is the person will begin a defensiveness. We're not trying to have the person defensive. We want to be able to disarm them. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to disarm them. So explain. Sorry, that I feel is not fact. It's how it's making you feel. Do you see? Because remember, if you make it a fact, we're gonna have an issue. You have to make it. This is how you're making me feel, right? so the other person understands it's affecting you. You start bringing it's affecting the whole entire world, and everyone's like, I don't, well, it is what it is, isn't it? But now, when it's now affecting you, because remember, I care about you. Right? So again, lateness is not no, we're not talking about lateness. It just means we're talking about feelings. Okay? About how people interpret things. Right? So it's important that people relay information away, let people know, hey, you are affecting me. Hey, you are hurting me. Angel said this. I love that. Right? DJ said, I'm sure you're not late to what's important to you. DJ, I can be late to anything. I'll be honest with you. I'll be late to the meeting the Queen. She's now late, so probably would be late to meeting her, technically. But you know, so there, it don't matter what it is, but it has to be interpreted. So it's not about being late, it's about interpretation. But now, like I said, there are certain times you can't win. I remember there was a couple that said something about, I remember I was listening to a couple, and the woman was complaining that the husband, trust me, sing, pray, tell them, as for me, I'm late. You know what I mean? So the person, they might have to be, sometimes you just can't win, right? Sometimes you can't beat them. So if you can't beat them, you have to find a smarter way to outsmart them. Which is why I gave the example of being late and someone saying 6 o'clock when it really is 7 o'clock. Right? Sometimes you trick yourself. So do you know what I used to do? I probably need to go back to doing this as well. I have to be able to do this as well. I think I might be putting my clock an hour behind. She said, nah, Singpay, don't try. I was not on time for I'm a piano. Don't even try that. I was late. You know I was late. You was late. That was a problem. I was late. You was late. We were all late. Yeah, I was earlier than you, but we were all late. Okay, we were all late. All right, we were all late. Okay, that day. Woo! Oh man. Okay. Emotionally intelligent. Woo! My English is not Englishing right now, so it's not on purpose. I hear you, it's not. It's not. But we do have to be better. We have to be better. We have to be better. And then this is the key part. We do see as control. It's like, get off my back, bro. Get off my back, bro. Like, yo, get off my back. You understand? That's how sometimes we can feel. And I know sometimes I feel like that. I'm like, get off my back, man. No one ain't died. Like, get off my back, bro. You be seeing that as not time, but I'm looking at it as, look, it's gonna happen. It's gonna get there. But it affects people, and that's the reality of things. It does affect people. Your lateness does affect people, right? Let's see. Procrastinating, absolutely. My cousin be 3 hours late for dinner and cook the main courses. We eat meat with no sides. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Sometimes you just can't win. So what you do? You outsmart them. Okay. So, you know, sometimes you might have to do a reward system. I'm gonna give you an example. It's a very wild example. It doesn't mean it has to happen. It's just like sometimes you find what motivates your partner. Maybe, do you know what? You put you know what? They leave their socks in the bath in the bedroom, right on the floor. Now I don't do that, but I'm just saying, leave the socks on the floor, right, when they come into the house, and you want them to pick it up. It may be several solutions. You know what? You may be the person, you may be the person that has to pick it up for them, and you may have to concede that ground. It may be, you know what? You make the basket into a basketball hoop, and you make it a game for them, and they may like that because they feel rewarded by that. Do you know what I mean? Right? I don't know. Maybe you cut out a billboard and you put it in your bedroom and say, "Hey, remember, pick up your socks." I don't know, but you find a smart way to get that person to be motivated to come aboard and be on side. And that sometimes maybe you may need to concede that ground. Sometimes also you may as well. You know, the situation. Listen, going to Ghana, sing pray. Listen, if you come to Ghana, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared of Ghana. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was scared of Ghana. I cannot play with you. I was scared of Ghana. Hey, I thought I was late, but Ghana? Ghana? With Ghana? Blood. And if I turned up to an event. Event was meant to start at 12 midday. Start at 6 p.m. in the evening. It was a full-on event, a full-on event with many different artists that were meant to be playing. These guys gave us a time of 12 lunch period. I got there at 1. Because it's an event. You can cut up a little bit late. It's a dance event. They hadn't even finished setting on the stage. They hadn't even done mic check. I said, what? I'm sitting in the location for a good 5 hours. 5. The event didn't even start at 6. It started at like 6, 7 o'clock. You understand? Right? It was madness. It's at that point I realized, no, coach, you thought you had it. You thought listen, my God. Brother, look, I could have done things in between the time, Bro, I could have been doing things in that time. I lost 6 hours that day. Now, I was on holiday. I didn't give a hoots. I don't care. I was on holiday. But 6 hours? Bro. So, yeah. That's what I can say, But I get it. We have a different system. In Africa, we have a different system. It's just a different system. I get it. I'm not. I was just like, I said, these people are moving mad. 6 hours. They're saying now you see how it feels. Please, guys, you've never waited 6 hours for me. Okay, at best half an hour, but 6 hours. 6 hours. 6. But you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. The beach was beautiful. Okay, because it was by the beach. Where was it? I'm trying to remember the location now. It's out of my head. You know what I mean? Edna, the artists didn't even turn up till 6 either. So I don't know if I got the different memo. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. And that wasn't my fault, guys. This whole last night wasn't my fault. It was my fault. It'd be like that. I was waiting on someone else. Okay, so. But yeah. That's true. Sida's right. I can't even talk. It was an hour. It was an hour. And I learned. After Atlanta, by DC, I was there on time. If I was the first person there. You understand? You know what I mean? I got Atlanta all wrong. You okay? And so by DC, I said, no, DC, we ain't going to do that. I'm going to be on time. I'm going to be there early. I'm going to leave. Ask my team. I even said to them, I'm going to leave you guys behind. I will get there on time, get there early for the setup. Because I learned my lesson. Because I was like, oh, I made a mistake, Atlanta. I should have gone earlier. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I made a mistake and I corrected it. So I learned. You're absolutely right. Because I don't know how Atlanta waiting. I walked into a round of applause. I know those niggas were trying to kill me. I know they wanted to stab me up, bruv. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I learned by DC. I said not again. Okay. Yeah. Black girl shift said. Was it an hour? I don't know. Was it an hour? I don't know. I can't remember. You know. I don't know what time. I definitely I can't remember the time. I can't remember what happened. What happened at Atlanta? Jay, what happened at Atlanta? I can't remember what happened at Atlanta. I don't know what happened at Atlanta. I don't know why it was. I can't remember what it was. I was ready, so but yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, I was definitely a late man now. Oh, was it Sean? See, said it was Sean. Well, Sean ain't here to defend himself, so we can blame Sean, can't we? We can blame Sean. Now, sing pray like we were not at Chick-fil-A. We were definitely not at Chick-fil-A, that's for sure. We definitely weren't. Someone said it was Sean. He's not here to defend himself. We're happy to see you too, Sela. We're happy to see you as well. It was a good time, man. We enjoyed ourselves, man. Had some good food as well. There was so much food after as well. It was ridiculous. I wish you guys took some of the food away, man. There was so much food, man. Honestly, it was so much food. Like, it was too much. Like, I wish people had takeaway. Next time when we do it, we'll have takeaway boxes because ridiculous. There was so much food left over. It was mad. Black girl said I would have been pissed because I was gonna call out of work to go to Atlanta event. Baby, you'd have been there, baby. You'd have been there, baby. You'd have been there. You would have been there. You would have been there. Don't you worry about that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So sometimes you just can't win. So sometimes, tell people it's 5 and it's 6. That's one way to do it, right? Okay, so back onto what I was talking about. In fact, I want to play a little bit more of the clip with the Devale Ellis because they did some good talkings. That's just
for us. We're able to speak the way we speak because I feel like I chose the right person for me. I could sit up here and say all of this stuff, and if I would have chose the wrong person, then I'd have been up here talking about bitches ain't shit. Hello. So it really depends on who you choose and if you want to be married. I wanted to be married and I wanted to be monogamous. I tried the juggling shit. It didn't work. My mind was all over trying to chase and do all this other stuff. I couldn't focus on the things that were making me happy and at peace. So I was like, why am I doing this? Some people are good at that. Right. I got boys who can balance and are freaking great at what they do.
It's a balancing beam.
And that's but the thing is, they're great at that. That's the life they should live.
Right.
Because that makes them happy. As long as he or she is honest with all the people they're dealing with, that's just not my walk. That's
I give props to people who know, like.
Listen, I love their bars, man. They be dropping bars as well. But you know what? Choosing the right person is a very paramount thing. It's choosing a person that wants to work with you, that wants to move with you. And I want to say this as well. I think I was talking to my boy today about this as well. Man, then we got to stop choosing yellow with this chasing. You understand? Stop choosing them girl that you have to chase up and do fast and furious things to go and collect, bro. You know what I mean? Choose a woman that's choosing you, bro. You know what I mean? Choose a woman that really loves you and cares for you, and choose that woman and love her too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't choose somebody you're not attracted to. I'm saying choose somebody, who's gonna love you and you're gonna love them. Like, stop choosing these girls that don't really care about you because you not even say falsely, but because you advertise something that they actually want, but isn't the wholesomeness of what you actually need. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is gonna go in part into my part 6 point, okay, as well. With this what are you advertising? What are you advertising? Okay. So importantly, listen, I want to be very real with you. What are you advertising? Because a lot of guys will be complaining, saying women are gold diggers or women want their money and da. And I'm saying, bruv, why are you complaining about the person you're advertising this thing for? Advertising. Okay, so for instance, let me say this for instance, right? You're a man that makes a lot of money. You're well off. You're well endowed financially. You're winning, right? And fantastic, But you keep getting women that are only seemingly after your finances. Great. Okay. That's because that's what's being led with, number one. Okay. Number two, that's what's most visible as well, especially if you've got status. It's going to be the most visible. And the reality is, you have to change. Okay, all right. You're gonna have to change. You're gonna have to change the territory, the battlefield, the terrain. You have to change it. If you know that the type of women or type of men you keep attracting because okay, you're a very good-looking woman and you're very sexy, okay, and you look, you know, you want you got a particular look that keeps drawing people to be more physically invested in you, but not necessarily invested in other parts that you want them to be. You have to change the terrain. Because, for instance, there are some women here. Listen, no matter what you wear, your body look good. Huh? If you got a body that your body look good, yeah, don't matter what you wear, your body look good. Your body look set. Your body look pretty. You understand? Like nothing's going to change that. You can wear a bin bag and someone's still going to find you sexy. That's not what's most important. What's most important is if that's what you want to be leading with, then by all means continue. But if you're complaining that the men only see you as a sexual item, then you need to be able to showcase something else, meaning change the terrain. Challenge them in a different way. It doesn't mean don't look sexy, don't look good, don't look pretty. No, what it means is change the terrain, change what's most important, right? For instance, I'm an intellect and I want a partner that's also intellectual. So what do? I lead with my intellect and then I have conversations with people. And I'm like, okay, you can't hang with me. That's cool. You don't have the range. That's okay. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And I move it on. Right? Now, you know what I mean? Even if she came there for money, if she can't intellectually hang, I already know it's okay. I appreciate you. Look, baby, you're not in that intellectual range. Right? So you gotta be honest with yourself and say, what do I want? What is it I'm looking to? What kind of person am I trying to attract? Because listen, some of you are some of you, we look at you and we're like, damn, body bad. You know what I mean? And there's nothing you can do about that. Your face look good, your hair look pretty, your hair look nice. You know what I'm saying? Body look crisp. Nothing you can do about that. And why would you want to? You know, but is that what you want the man to only think of you? No, you want him to think more. You want him to realize that you got a personality. You want to realize, that what you've got an intellectual mind. You want him to realize you've got these other qualities. Then let's start changing the terrain. That brother enters your space. You lead with that type of conversation. When you see them leading into the whole your body bad, you say, hey, look, that's not for me. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not for me. You know what I mean? Look, for a long time, I led with muscles. I'll be honest with you. Everywhere I go, I want to make sure that people knew I had muscles. I was trying to draw the ladies in with a sexual vibe. Okay? I wanted them to know that I was naughty. I wanted everyone to know I was naughty. I wanted everyone to know that I was, because I was leading with my body. And then when I get girls that are only interested in the body or girls that are not really that deep, why am I asking questions? Why am I complaining? How can I complain? They are there attracted to the very thing I put out. Change the terrain. And this actually goes for people that are also rich. These are going for people that rich, money, your Drakes, your Brad Pitts, Dems, and all those. Change the terrain. We know you're famous already. Okay? They know you're famous. But if you lead with your famousness, guess what happens? You can't complain when they only want you for your fame. Okay? So the reality is what you want to be doing, if it's not working for you, and it seems to be attracting the same type of people, is to be leading with something else. right? It's not. It's, how many people? Well, it was a long, not even a long time. When people go onto my TikTok, they're like, "I only see culture from the up high. I never knew like that. What's going on here?" Right? And it's just it's because I when I'm on YouTube, I don't care about this. I care about this. I want you to know this. I need you to know my mind. That's what I want to lead with. So when people see me in a different atmosphere, I'm like, where's this culture coming from? I didn't even knew he had this part of him, right? Because the thing I was advertising was this. But if I was advertising this, and people are attracted to this, I can't complain when they're not attracted to this if I'm advertising this. You know what I mean? Can't complain. So the most important thing is that you are leading with the correct thing you want to lead with. And if that person doesn't know how to play on that terrain, you need to leave it alone. Okay? Leave it alone. Sing praise, I'm a gentle giant. Low. Felicia's asking, what am I doing? What am I doing on TikTok? I appreciate you. Sorry. Appreciate you. Felicia, what am I doing on TikTok? Go on TikTok and you'll see. Go on TikTok and you'll see. Okay? All right. So again, so make sure that if you want to have something different, change the terrain, man. Change the terrain. Sure. Sean said I was lurking in the bushes, but I will not be blamed for the lateness. I got back and dressed, and everybody still wasn't ready. You're moving mad. All right, Cordioli. Let's jot that. I think my last few points I got now. Do you know what? I want to just do quickly as well. Also, okay, cool. I want to talk about this really, really quickly as well. Here we go. Number 7. It's more about men, and I said sometimes as men we just do things that fit the algorithm, and what that really means is sometimes we just do things because we know that's what works, but we don't know why we're doing it. You know what I mean? We don't know why I do. We just do it, right? I always give the example: pain on the first date. A lot of guys just do it because it's what's commanded of the culture. But do you know what impact it has? Do you know what signal it sends? Do you know what communication it's breeding? Right? A lot of times we don't even realize that this is happening. And so sometimes men just do things. I'm talking about men because I'm a man. We're just doing things to fit the algorithm, not necessarily because we understand what we're actually doing. And I think this can also be great, not understanding, as long as you just do it. But then I think it's even better when you understand the impact it's actually making, because there's an intentionality that comes behind it. And then you can actually push that behavior more, right? Because you understand the impact it makes to the other person. Yeah. Oh, gracious kings. The chat is wild. It's because you guys are also in Discord now. You're bringing this nonsense also to here as well. If you haven't joined our Discord, guys, you need to join our Discord, man. You have to join our Discord. It's a waviness, bro. Wavy, wavy, wavy. Trust me. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's important to have. So what I was saying, you really want to be able to understand these things, okay, as well, because once you understand, you'll be able to replicate the behavior knowingly and intentionally as well. Yeah, the Discord is wavy. I can't lie to you guys. The Discord, if you haven't joined, guys, you have not joined, it is very wavy. To join the Discord, you got to join the Patreon to get involved with that as well. So if you haven't joined the Patreon, you can't join the Discord. So I'll send you guys a link, because listen, we're killing it out here. The fun is too much. I'll be honest with you, the fun is too much on this particular aspect. So join a Patreon, join a Discord as well. You know what I mean? Listen, because I can see they're talking about stuff that you guys only if you on the page, if only you're in the Discord, you'll know what they're talking about. They're moving very mad in the chat. All right, my last point before we jump off anyway. I'll reserve some things for another time. Also as well. Okay. One of my points here. Okay. Ooh. Baby. Number 8. Okay. Oh, gracious key. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. I said this, you know, as a final warning for the last point, right? Some of y'all need therapy, but you're using relationships and say, I need more grace. Some of you need therapy, but you're using your relationships and saying, give me more grace. I need some of you to go to therapy ASAP Rocky. Talk to an uncle, an elder, or something. I need something to start working immediately, because some of you, honestly, some of you, you are using relationships and say, give me grace, when really all you need to do is actually just take some time out and sit on the bench and heal. You know what I mean? Like, stop using people as a container. Stop using people as your therapist. They are your partner. Okay, go get that help that you need. Okay, because you're tiring out your partner emotionally, and eventually it will become physical. Okay, so stop asking for that grace in your madness and go and get therapy. Let me give you an example of what I mean by this. I used to be a person that, you know what, I remember some relations back. I remember some relations back. I was, wanting the girl to, kind of ask me what's wrong. Wanting the girl to ask me what's wrong. Like, I'll be like, frustrated or hurt by something or annoyed by something, and I wouldn't talk. And I'd want her to ask these deep questions that I would ask as a coach or a therapist. And I was wanting her to ask the same questions. And then I'll get annoyed at the fact that she's not even asking these questions. I'll be like, you don't really care because you don't even ask these questions, right? And I remember I said at one point, I said, you need to ask the right kind of questions. No, what I'm asking her to do is ask therapist questions. Okay, that's what I was really saying. I really needed her to ask those therapist questions so that I can feel comfortable sharing how I felt about certain things that happened to me in the past. I needed help. ASAP Rocky. I remember there's some days I would be just so mute. It's actually mad to think about it. Back in the day, I'll be so mute in my own head thinking about things. And really all I needed in that moment was a therapist. Okay? All I needed in that moment was a therapist. So you stop asking for grace, get yourself in therapy. Stop asking for grace, get yourself in therapy. I am not your therapist. She's not your therapist. Get yourself some help, sit on a bench, heal, come back onto the field of play when you're done. Okay? That's what we're saying. But listen, look, we can talk some more another time, but I wanted to drop this impromptu 1 hour live. Look, jump into the Discord if you have not already. Get on the Patreon if you haven't done already. These guys are killing it already in the conversational space. These people are already, making jokes and stuff. I don't want you to miss out on some of the jokes that were happening already, because like I said to you guys, we're building that community. And by next year, it's going to be crazy. I'm telling you, we're going to have a huge community. So listen, I need y'all to, if you haven't already done so, get on the Patreon, get involved with the show. I know a lot of you guys are silent listeners and silent participants in these type of lives. But guess what? Sign up for the Patreon, get involved in the Discord. You can be silent there too. But at least you won't miss out on some of the jokes. We're gonna start having watch parties too as well. I would love to, because Love is Blind is on now, so we might have to do a few watch parties for Love is Blind as well, and so we can actually comment whilst we're watching Love is Blind live and watching it together as well. So it's going to drop on, I believe, Tuesday. I think, is it Tuesday next episode drops, or Wednesday? Sorry, next episode drops. We've got next few episodes. So, you know, we would love to be able to watch that with you guys as well. So make sure you guys join that Discord. Don't miss out on the jokes and the bars and the banter. I don't want you guys to be left out, man. But we moving. We moving. We are moving. The chat is moving wild. You lot are moving very wild. You lot in the chat, you're moving very, very wild. Okay. All right. So if you're a person as well, I know we've got 115 people here. Some of you are very shy. Okay. All right. Some of you are very, very shy. And that's why you're in the live. You don't comment. We saw that from a few weeks back. Join the Discord, connect, network, get to have more people in your space as well. You know, we would love this as well. Someone said, Jeff, you plan to have elders in your conversations. Elders where? Elders where? Are you talking about in terms of, in terms of marriage conversations? If that's what you mean, yeah, of course. Haitian Lola, hey, Haitian Lola. Good to see you, baby. Good to see you, baby. Listen, make sure you don't miss out, man. Get yourselves, guys. Those of you who are more silent watchers, we appreciate you. We love you. We love, the fact that you guys are there and with us. Don't miss out. Join the Patreon, connect, network, watch some TV shows, and comment freely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a space for you guys. Go in, play. But okay, look, I'm gonna go now, guys, as well. Felicia said I'm an omnivert, but I'm very shy. Felicia, I'm not involved with you. I'm not involved with you. I'm not involved. Singpray said that the Patreon is great minus the Apple slander. Oh my gosh. Apple slander will be tolerated in the Discord. We don't like Apple here, even though I'm using an Apple phone right now. I am an Android avid user, and I feel no way about using my Samsung. Okay, feel no way about using my Samsung. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Samsung. All right, cool. I will love you and leave you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again a little bit later on as well. Love is Blind. We'll be back. We'll do a Love is Blind live, I think, on Tuesday night as well now. So, no, Monday night, I said, sorry. So let's get ready for that. Let's get ready for that. JR, you already know, cuz. Trey, they don't know, B. They don't know. It's too funny. And do you know what's bad? I already knew this was gonna happen. Once Discord is up, the joke, there's gonna be so many PJs now. Do you know what we have to start doing? We need to start making some code words, guys. We need to start making some code words so that when we get into our proper lives, we start releasing the code words. You understand? Yeah? Start releasing these code words. Trust me. Beat by Jesus. Pleasure to see you. Pleasure to see you, Kelly M. Pleasure to see you. Okay. I see you, pleasure by. Okay. I see you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Listen, DP looking kind of sweet. Oh, Lord. God bless you for coming out of the woodworks. Yeah, listen. We have to get some code words, guys, for our group now. We'll get some code words. You know what I'm saying? Sing pray, you have lost it, mate. Okay, you've lost it. Apple use Samsung products on their phone. You know what? We'll discuss this in the Patreon. Okay, we're gonna discuss this in the Patreon. Sorry, in the Discord. All right, au revoir, guys. Much love. We'll be chatting in the Discord. Appreciate you guys. See you later as well. Much